It's now time for a technical presentation. And for that, I would like to invite Mr. Aparajit Gupta, Director Sales, BFSI and Large Enterprises, Rakuten SixthSense. He shall be speaking on transforming financial services with intelligent observability. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Aparajit Gupta, and I lead the banking and financial services at Rakuten. Uh, Firstly, thank you so much for taking time out to be a part of this session. It's always wonderful to be here. I get to meet my friends from the industry, learn the latest in technology, and even the challenges what we are facing. So frankly, in a country like India, which has a huge population and diverse demography with different income levels, technology is only way forward so that we can ensure financial inclusion. So this, in fact, is a fantastic opportunity for us to contribute to the India growth story. Before I take you through the modern day intelligent observability, let me give you a quick introduction about Rakuten. So we are a Japanese e-commerce company, 27-year-old, uh, diversified in financial services, payments, telecom, instant messaging, which is Viber, market research, sports, and many more. With 70 plus businesses, we are valued at around 60 billion US dollars. Um, at the heart of all our businesses, if you see, are three things: communication, data, and membership. So, to give you a sense of what we do in banking, we have an extensive BFSI experience, as we would say. So, there is Rakuten Bank, which is basically a digital bank based in Japan, and it has kind of operations in East Asia. And then you have Rakuten Pay, which is for Rakuten payments in Japan, US, Europe, uh, parts of APAC. Rakuten Securities in brokerage, wealth management, capital. So safely, I can say that many of us in this room who face these challenges in terms of customer experience, compliance, statutory body reporting, or data privacy laws, whether it's global or regional, and business outcomes. So Rakuten as a company faces the same challenges in its banking financial services vertical. In India, what we do, we have the largest global capability center with over 5,000 engineers building products for Rakuten Group. And also some of these products we have externalized in the market. And one such product is SixthSense, of which we are a part of, which solves for telemetry and observability in organizations. Uh, Let me first, give you a sense of some of the challenges and, the latest in changes which are happening in banking. And we are all aware of it, right? 10 years back when I was working with a large US ATM manufacturer, one of the often repeated, words I used to hear is cash is king. And these companies were very complacent because they were selling ATMs. Then UPI revolution happened, and you have today 18 lakh crore rupees being processed every month with UPI. You have a 500% growth over the last 5 years, and India alone handles around 50% of the global digital, payments. And frankly, I'm a little skeptical giving out, UPI stats generally in conferences because every month we are touching a new benchmark. We are doing a new record. So what it essentially means that, there has been a huge technology adoption from the customer side, and there is a critical role of data, cloud, and analytics, which is driving this transformation. Your tech stacks have also changed. So gone are the days of monolithic systems. We are now focusing on modular and flexible architecture, which is and the next generation of composable banking architecture is the is the buzzword over here. Interestingly, Vado, which is a digital bank, it kind of onboarded 600,000 customers, in just 6 months of operations using a composable banking platform, integrating with multiple services, APIs. So as a context, we see that there is always pressure on banks to scale quickly and respond to customer changes or demands, which is very high. And this shift towards flexible, scalable solutions is becoming very critical for businesses. Of course, with all these comes the threat for security. If you see some data points, we had like 13 lakh security cyber attacks last year, and over 50% of those were targeted towards banking and financial services. 248 confirmed data breaches, highlighting the constant need for, a robust security measure, understand how these IT systems work, the downtimes, and the impact and quick RCAs. That's what is needed. So, if we figure out the most critical banking challenges as on date, the first one which comes to my mind is telemetry blind spot. So, I talked to many CIOs, CTOs pretty much most of the days of the week. What I understand is banks have a lot of systems, and systems are collecting data. Uh, but strangely, 70% of banks are not able to make use of that data. So that data is lying somewhere being collected. Of course, I just showed you, how the transaction volume has increased. I'm not sure if it's so possible to scale up infrastructure to that level. So you have a challenge, scaling it up. Uh, and then, of course, with each bank, you have a lot of legacy systems, and you're spending a massive amount of money maintaining those legacy systems, around 70% of your budget. Uh, because these systems were built long back, they are not built to manage the modern microservices architecture, and then you want to integrate your APIs with such systems. You can imagine the kind of vulnerabilities that you would throw open. So every exposure from an API perspective, or a threat, if I can say, it brings you back to square one because there is a high risk of your brand value, your market reputation, and customer trust. And then there are these humongous efforts on regulatory reporting, which you need to undertake. Um, Moving on, the other two challenges, mainly if you see, one is alert fatigue. And I was just speaking with someone today morning, and he had the same concern that there are tons of alerts being generated, and over 90% of those alerts are redundant alerts, are not so important ones. But operating in a regulated market, you have to essentially report the most important ones. Now, the challenge is you are not able to scale up your IT teams or your SREs to that extent. So you have basically a finite number of people managing those alerts, sifting through the alerts and trying to figure out, the most important one. And that, frankly, is a big pain. And finally, the data silo trap. As an example, for instance, let's take underwriting. Now, the number of loans have increased. The people coming to bank with you have increased. You want to give them a digital loan, for instance, but are you able to scale up underwriters to that extent? Probably not. And essentially what happens, underwriters rely on systems, and systems throw those data on their dashboards for underwriters to make sense of it. Now, how many of you in this room can actually put a hand on your heart and say that your pipelines are not broken and your systems are throwing all the correct data? So pipelines typically are broken. There are data consistency issues, formatting issues. And what essentially can happen is that you end up making a wrong credit decision and giving out to a loan to a customer who might become delinquent. To put in perspective, if I were to map some of these problems to a digital customer journey, we could say that it starts off with a digital onboarding, and as a customer, I want a seamless, near zero wait time experience. The challenges you would see typically in onboarding are around data pipelines, leading to delays of verification. It could have a fraud risk, and as a customer, all of us are now used to instant gratification. You are using your cell phone to do pretty much all the work. I want instant access to my account. I want to pay my bills. I want to check my account, balance. I want to do a peer-to-peer payment. And so, for me as a customer, systems cannot fail. So, as a banker, imagine their pain where you need continuous system uptime and ensuring near zero breaches. And that's one of the pillars of modern day banking. Um, we already talked about how data is getting important. A couple of more use cases could be around where customer tries to do a investment using robo advisors or based on their risk profiling or loyalty points for a customer. If you have a broken pipe or a data pipe, you are making all the wrong decisions. uh, so it is very evident that just telemetry data or APMs or application performance monitoring, as we say, will not suffice. We need smarter tools in action. And this basically brings me to Rakuten's SixthSense, an AI-powered platform completely make in India. So Rakuten in India is pretty huge. We have around 4.5 to 5,000 engineers building products for Rakuten as a group. And some of these products have been externalized to the market at large. And Rakuten SixthSense is one such product, which has gone live with quite a few customers. I'll maybe share some details around it. So at the heart of SixthSense intelligent observability platform, you see there is a dynamic engine which is designed to analyze upon the data which comes from all your sources. So from various layers of your ecosystem, you would have the matrix, events, logs, traces, APIs, raw data, basically. Our AI engine will ensure that it leaves nothing for a guess. So we collect and centralize the data, and we give you an end-to-end visibility that tracks pretty much everything from your APIs to your API requests to your performance matrices. And what the engine basically does, it can do correlation, root causation, forecasting, and anomaly detection. The idea is we avoid a problem before it happens. So it kind of helps you maintain your system uptime, and any issues don't escalate. This is one use case we recently completed with a very large streaming company in the US, where the business problems were, the blackout during games. They had outages during key playoff matches and delayed score updates or frozen scoreboards. So we implemented our AI engine in conjunction with our APM tool, and we were able to help them with RCAs in 3 clicks, which helped them reduce the alert fatigue, 96% reduction in cost path analysis, and automated time series correlation. Essentially, what happens is that we could extrapolate it to a reduction in your manpower or the site reliability engineers from around 10 resources to 2. Um, so if I were to put out SixthSense to the market at large, this is a pretty modularized product that we have. At the heart of it, is an AI engine which is built to predict, forecast, do your correlations, root causations. What it gets are the signals and those signals come from your APM, it could come from any telemetry data, whatever you may have in terms of collectors. And then we have a data observability tool, which basically monitors your data pipes and tells you issues about any broken pipelines, gives you a data lineage, and does an kind of quick RCA. You have a API observability pushing in signals. So essentially, you end up doing the API cataloging, bill of materials, security posturing. It helps you reduce any threats or vulnerabilities. And that's your unified observability for banking. And that's how we pitch it. Now, our tool has been deployed, the APM modules in NIC Command Center, Government of India. We have a pretty sizable engagement with them. We work with their Vahan, Parivahan, election commission we just completed, e-hospitals. There are a bunch of NBFCs, we work with RBI-regulated bill discounting platforms, airlines, and certain major retailers in the US. So, as I said in the beginning, just APM or telemetry is probably not sufficient as a way forward. A complex landscape in a bank would need much more from your systems, data pipes, and APIs. And that's what we are trying to do in terms of giving you predictive intelligence. That's all from my side, and we are now open to questions.
I request Ashish to please come and present the memento to Mr. Aparajit Gupta. We can clap now. Thank you so much.